Hi, Tom Ford is the newly minted billionaire. Yes, and thanks to the $2.8 billion acquisition of Tom Ford brands by the Estee Lauder Group. Yes, the acquisition price is $2.8 billion. Now, there are three things that Estee Lauder Group will take a complete ownership of. One, Tom Ford Eyewear. You may not know, but Tom Ford Eyewear is really famous. It really sells at the top end of luxury. Second, Tom Ford Fashion Apparel. All of us know that Tom Ford used to head Gucci as their creative, right? And he was solely responsible for taking Gucci to the heights that we have seen. He quit Gucci in 2005 to start his own namesake brand, along with the then CEO of Gucci brands. Third, Tom Ford Beauty. Some of you may have noticed the Tom Ford fragrances in some of the stores that you go to. But Tom Ford also has a beauty line along with fragrances, and everything comes under Tom Ford Beauty. Very interestingly, since 2012 to 2022, the Tom Ford Beauty business has grown at a CAGR, compounded annual growth rate of 25%. That's massive, isn't it? In a world where there's so much that people can use and from so many luxury brands, here is another guy who comes and launches Tom Ford Beauty and grows it at 25% CAGR. That's outstanding. Now let's understand the Tom Ford fashion line. Tom Ford does not make it on its own, right? They design it, but do you know who makes Tom Ford fashion? It's Zegna, Ermenegildo Zegna, the corporation. And they are solely responsible for creating all Tom Ford fashion. Tom Ford Eyewear, which is also a huge business for Tom Ford, is made by Marcolin, which is an Italian company, and they make sunglasses, eyeglasses for many top names that you would not even have imagined. And the third one is, of course, Tom Ford Beauty. But very important to know who are these licensing partners that are responsible for creating the phenomena called Tom Ford that's going out for $2.8 billion. Now, even after the acquisition, the licensing partners like Zegna and Marcolin, they are going to be a part of this journey along with the Estee Lauder Group. And remember, Estee Lauder is a massive group in the world of luxury and fashion and beauty. Estee Lauder Group also has a massive distribution globally. If you are in Mumbai like I am, if you go to one of the malls, you'll see these brands in one line. Smashbox, Bobbi Brown, MAC. Everything is owned by Estee Lauder Group. They own so many other brands as well. And these days, it's become more like a business as usual for big groups to acquire interesting brands and make those a part of the larger conglomerate. Alright, so let's understand how this deal is structured. Look, in any M&A transaction, it's very important to understand the structuring of the deal because the real meat of the understanding lies there. So $2.8 billion, how is it structured? It's a mix of cash and debt, of course. So Marcolin, which has the license of distributing Tom Ford Eyewear, is supposed to give $250 million to Estee Lauder Group. So that money is going to come from there. Then $300 million is going to accrue to Tom Ford and the CEO of the Tom Ford Group by July 2025. So that leaves Estee Lauder company to pay Tom Ford $2.3 billion upfront. Out of these $2.3 billion, some is cash and some is going to be financed by debt. Estee Lauder Group is a massive conglomerate, as I said earlier, and they have a lot of cash on their balance sheet, so they can definitely finance it with that cash. Now, in any mergers and acquisitions transaction, it's very important to understand the strategic rationale behind why one company acquires the another. The first thing is Tom Ford is an amazing brand. That logic and that reality is not lost upon us. All of us know it. So any conglomerate would love to have Tom Ford as a brand in their whole brand strategy. Second thing, there will be many synergies Estee Lauder Group will benefit from on a couple of accounts. One, transportation and distribution, that is logistics, overall logistics. The second, production. They can produce a lot of things at the same place. Of course, there's different brand value and different products and positioning for different brands within the Estee Lauder Group. But they can definitely negotiate and renegotiate with their outsourcing units. The third thing is Estee Lauder Group can really grow Tom Ford at a massive pace. That is something they are already seeing. They find it a very juicy apple. Okay, so they are acquiring it, and because of their distribution capabilities, they will make sure that they take Tom Ford brands, three of those: fashion, beauty, and eyewear, at a massive pace. I told you already that the beauty segment of Tom Ford was growing at a 25% CAGR. Estee Lauder would want to replicate that success story both in eyewear and in fashion too. So that's what Estee Lauder Group is getting from Tom Ford. And remember, Estee Lauder may not have as big a brand in their repertoire as Tom Ford, and which is why they're latching onto it. And I'm sure they are paying a huge price. See, Tom Ford was not a listed company, so we cannot say what was happening inside, but we can definitely make a guess that Estee Lauder paying a massive premium because it is the Tom Ford brand. What is in it there for Tom Ford? See, the thing is, for any businessman, when he or she creates a business, they want an exit. They want to really benefit and take the cash out and probably live a chilled out life, or live the life that they want, go to the moon, or build a new business. And which is why Tom Ford, who is now becoming a billionaire, would want to take that cash and do something else, even if it means to give his name, which is Tom Ford. Many businessmen and many people have sold their namesake brands in the past. This is not something that is happening for the first time, because it makes tremendous sense to sell that business. Cashing out is really a cool thing. And that's a brief analysis of this transaction and acquisition by the Estee Lauder Group. And that's that from me, Leader Speaks Luxury. The transaction and the strategic rationale and what is in it for the two parties in this transaction. I would love to share more on certain other transactions that have happened in the luxury space. Stay tuned.